this point. It is 10 o'clock, and we will go ahead and declare a quorum and call this special meeting to order at 10 o'clock. All right. Any public comments on any items? No. All right. Item number 3 is deliberate and consider possible action in accordance with 203.012 of the Texas Election Code for the canvass of votes resulting from the November 7th, 2023 election. And that's what we shall do. Pam, do you want to kind of
Yes, I would like
lead
to
us through this and tell us what we need to do?
I'd like to explain what you're looking at first. So the first thing is this one.
Mm-hmm.
So what this gets printed out from my election reporting manager. So this is all the ballots that went through my central count machine and my precinct scanners, and this is the results that it came up with. So these are your ballots. What the results were. The second sheet, it looks like this. So as the voters are coming in, and we check them in through the poll book, they are uploaded every night after early voting, and then the last election day when the poll books all sync. These are actually the voters in each precinct who went in and voted. And this comes from our Texas Election Administration Management System that all the voters are uploaded in. And so it uploads them by precinct. And so the third sheet, this is what I do basically is the canvas where I am actually showing you the number of voters that were on the rosters. And at one time, they wanted me to take early votes and do them by precinct also, and I did that for a while. But we have something called limited ballots, where a voter can say they moved to Cooke County, but they're still registered, say, in Denton County, and I had 4 of them. And so you don't know really, you have to give them a ballot. Might not be their correct precinct, but you got to find a ballot that matches what we have in common with Denton County. And so their ballots wouldn't match up by where they live in their precinct, and that's why you can't separate early voting because of your limited and maybe your provisional. So that's why that's not split up by precinct. And then of course the ballot by mail, and then the last one's all your election day, and that's how many voters versus how many ballots. And if you'll notice, there are no under or over discrepancies, which normally we have, but because of the express votes, that kind of keeps that from happening because the judges aren't accidentally giving them the wrong ballot. The poll book gives them the correct ballot. The express vote has them vote their correct ballot. They're not accidentally getting 2 ballots, and then because I don't have to have so many judges at the desk checking them in, have them sign and hand them out ballots, I'm able to have judges by the ballot box to make sure I don't have voters accidentally either walking out with their ballot or leaving their ballot laying on a table or in the machine, and that's helping with these discrepancies. So just to kind of explain why I feel like, because I think this may be the first time for this big of election that we had 0 discrepancies. I've had it before when it was just a really small runoff or something. Yeah. And then the last year.
What do you attribute the success to? I know you talked about that your judges, and would you say that's?
Oh yeah, my judges doing a good job, making sure they're checking in the correct person.
Right.
You know, when they scan their driver's license, sometimes it could possibly bring up 2 people, and so they got to look at that driver's license and make sure they're checking in the right person that they're in. And I make them now point when they bring up their name, it has their name and address, and because this has happened a few times where they actually picked the wrong one. So now I make them point and say, is this you, and is that where you live, before they sign, and that's helping that to make sure we're checking the correct person. Okay. And yeah, judges just good train them. I feel like the training is very helpful. They all came and they all get really good training, and a lot of my judges are the same ones for a couple years now. I had one new judge. Yeah, that helps too. That they. So, and then the last sheet is something new that they just started a couple years ago. It's called the election reconciliation form that I have to do. I have to do a preliminary one, and then this has to get sent to the Secretary of State so they can see. And of course, again, got zero differences. And so it was pretty much perfect. And that kind of shows you how many ballot by mails I received, how many never were returned. They were all accepted. The new having to do their driver's license, Social Security is, I think the voters are finally getting used to having to do that, so they're all doing it. Plus we put a little slip of paper in there and said, don't forget, and that's helping. So it's good to know that everybody's ballot by mail was accepted and counted, except for the 10 that never were returned. And we can't do anything about that, of course.
Is that the rejected ballots?
No, that's down here at the bottom.
Oh,
What was
okay.
rejected was provisional.
Okay.
We had 7 provisional ballots submitted, and 5 were rejected, and 2 were counted.
Okay.
And most of them were rejected because they either thought they registered through the DPS, and Brandy's able to look that up and see where they checked no, maybe an error. They thought they got registered, but they just didn't get registered in
gotcha.
time. And that's why most of them were rejected, because they were actually, or they just registered too late. But they always have no matter what a voter comes in, they can vote. It might be provisional, may or may not count, but they actually get to vote.
Yeah.
So, any other questions on that reconciliation? Down at the bottom is where it shows how many ballots we sent, how many were not returned, how many were surrendered. We had none surrendered, because they can do that too on election day or during early. If they have their ballot with them, they can come in and turn in that ballot because they maybe felt like they didn't have enough time to get it mailed in. So they can come and cancel that ballot by mail and get a regular ballot. If they don't bring it with them, they can still vote, but of course they'd vote provisional, and then I would check to make sure their ballot never came back, and then their ballot would count. So there's always a way if they get their ballot a little late and they feel like they don't have time to turn it in. But we didn't have any of that this time. Of course, we only had 64. So I'm very proud that our discrepancies were 0 and everything matched perfect.
How many, just out of curiosity, how many curbside did you have?
Well, we can't track them anymore.
Okay.
That's the whole purpose of bringing this poll book out to the curb, so I
Okay.
can't track them. But I would
Okay.
say I had about 16, so that
Okay.
parking spot worked very well. I did have a
Okay.
few that still parked out front and they didn't want to move, which was fine, but at least I didn't have to put a sign there and take a parking spot the whole, because there was a day or two that we didn't have any.
Well, the important thing is there's 16 people that did not get disenfranchised there
Exactly.
because they
Yeah.
were able to.
Yeah, and they
go ahead
loved
and
it,
vote.
yeah. Because a lot of them wanted to vote by mail, but they
Right.
called and they were too late, and I explained the curbside. If you're not able to get out and walk in, and if I always tell them, if you got a doctor's appointment or you're
Yeah.
come to town for anything, that day, you just give me a call. And a lot of them said, oh, okay, I didn't know I could do that, and they did come and they did vote. So they were very happy about that they still got their vote, even though they wanted to vote in their own luxury of their home. But that's the thing about the car, it's almost like they can take their time. I just tell them, I have to stand there with them, but I just step back and tell them to take their time, and they can vote just like if they were at home.
I know that you all put in a lot of hours
Yes.
doing this. Would, do you think changing our area over there like we proposed to do, is that gonna make things somewhat easier for you?
You mean just having that room?
No,
the
curb,
curbside
the
parking.
concrete.
Yeah, that would be great if I could have voters park back there. Y'all haven't approved that yet, but yeah, if that all gets fixed and I can have voters park back, because that's the only problem with like election day,
Yeah,
moving election day from the civic center to here. It was great. The judge loved it. It just, I can leave that room set up
yep,
and it's plenty of room, but parking is of course a problem.
right, okay. Okay, any questions, anybody? What do we do from here?
So we do need to vote to just approve the canvas of votes, which is these sheets I gave you. That's the reports that I'm giving you. Basically, they're the returns, the tabulation returns. Right now, you're just approving them, so y'all can just make a motion to approve them.
I make the motion to approve the ballots.
Is this item number 4?
No, we're on 3 still.
We're still on 3, okay. Would you have a motion then to approve the number of votes? Is that your
Yes.
motion then? I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Motion passes 3-0, 3 being the quorum.
So yeah, 4, I'll pass this down so you can look at it. So on 4, what we're doing is we're actually just approving this certification that y'all have to sign and certify.
Okay.
You voted the canvas results, now you're certifying them. Need a pen?
You did it.
Is that right? Yeah, I opened up that little bin over there for the air conditioners. Something was cracked.
Sounds like rats or something.
It's not on. So somebody still does need to make a motion and a second to approve the certification of election results.
I make the motion to approve the certification of the election results.
Okay, a motion has been made to approve the certification results.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Art made that motion. Second would be Commissioner Sicking. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And there are none. Once again, quorum of 3 is passed. The item number 4, 3-0. Item number, are we ready for our 5 now? Okay.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Well, I don't know. It only took 12 minutes here. Are you sure you want to leave this early?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there something else can't we take a little more time?
Pretty simple. We'll do that next Monday.
Next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, next week.
You know, second.
All right.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Art made the motion. Second, Commissioner Sicking. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. The motion to adjourn is passed 3-0.